I'm going to highlight a few of the key steps for the Chapter 3 SAM project. Remember, the first thing we want to do is rename our file that will come down with your last name _1 to the exact same file name, but it needs to be _2. So with this project, it asks you to copy the letterhead, masthead, from the support file and paste it into your starting file. But the key is here, we want to keep the source formatting. So we want it to look exactly the way it did on the original document when we paste it into our new document. So here is my support file with the masthead that I want to copy. So I can simply copy that, and then I can just close this file because I don't need it anymore. Then I open up my starting file. Make sure you've turned on your show hide characters so that you know exactly where your cursor is. If this is not turned on, you might mistakenly put your masthead here because you don't realize that there's another paragraph above it. So I'm going to click in my first paragraph. Now I'm not going to just click paste. I need to click keep source formatting so that the color stays the same. In the next line, I'm going to insert today's date. Now, what's confusing about this is if you look at the instructions date, because this was developed back in 2021, their date at that time was May 5th, 2021. Obviously, that's not today's date. That's not the date we're going to want to use. So I go to insert, date and time. I'm going to drop in today's date. On the second page of our project, just scroll down. I'm going to work with some of these graphics. So on my instructions, one of the first things it says is the logo that got copied in here is backwards. So we want to flip it, and then I want to use the position feature to put it in the correct place. So I don't want to just drag it there. Don't want to use the text wrapping. I want to use actually the position button. So first I'm going to flip it, and then I'm going to use the position. Go back to my starting file. Here's my picture. Picture format. Rotate. I'm going to flip it. So now the text obviously is correct. And here's my position. So I want to use this one in the upper top right with square text wrapping. Moving on with my directions. This format painter, I like to think of it as a paintbrush, like you're dipping your brush into a bucket with a color, and then you're painting across something that you want to be the same color. So in this case, I want to copy 7th Annual Conference Formatting to hosted by Advantia Biotech. So the paintbrush can be a little bit tricky to use. You're just going to have to play with it. First, dip your brush in the bucket. So basically highlight what you want. Click on your format painter. Now don't click here until you're ready to click and drag across. So think about taking your brush and dragging it across that text so that you get the same exact format as you did above. This line right here is kind of annoying. It's a little distracting. It's probably unnecessary. So we're going to highlight this where it's bold and italic and all that. And there's a button up here called Clear Formatting. So I select that, and it makes it look like the rest of the text, and it's not quite as busy. And that was step number 6. Corrections on the picture. This whole file has a lot to do with pictures. We're going to change the contrast, and we're going to add alt text. Alternative text gives people with vision problems a description of what the picture is, because they may or may not be able to see it. So first let me make the corrections, and then I'll add the alternative text. select my picture, go into picture format, and here are my corrections. I'm going to come over here until I find the +40, +20. You can see the difference with the picture, how bright it's gotten compared to what I started with. So keep that in mind, that you can make corrections to pictures. Now I'm going to add my alternative text. I can actually come back here to my instructions, and I can copy this. Make sure you don't put a period at the end, because there is no period in this one. Go back to my Word file, and I can come over here, and I can just paste it. Then I can close that dialog. So SmartArt is just a quick, easy way to add some visual interest to your documents. And I'm going to use the basic matrix SmartArt, and I'm going to add these 4 bulleted items to them. And notice it says in the blank paragraph after conference programs. So when I scroll down, because I have turned this show hide button on my home tab, I know that this is the blank paragraph they're talking about. So insert, SmartArt. It's a matrix, and the first shape is called basic. And then select OK. Now you may or may not get this text pane showing up. I find it's very easy to use this text pane to enter the text, or you can also click in here and enter the text, whichever way works for you. And there's 4 items we're going to put in there: testing, material, medical, and energy. And it will resize as you type. Testing. Oops, did I spell it right? Medical. And I forgot what the last one was. Energy. Alright, so that's our Spark. This is setting tab stops is one of the things that'll come up in the capstone. It can get confusing. People are not sure how to do it, so I'll show you how to walk you through this. So I want to change this tab so that it looks like this one down here. So I'm going to just select this whole sentence. If you put your cursor just outside on the left margin, it'll allow you to select the whole line at once, or you can click and drag across. I'm going to go into my paragraph settings, tabs. I don't want to change the default tab. That's if I just want to press tab anywhere in my document. I want to leave it alone. I want to leave it at 0.5. This is a special tab, so I'm going to set my own position here. I'm going to set it for 6 to the right, and I want this dot leader. I can set that, places it down here. Now when I click OK, there's my tab. Looks just like the other one. Okay, so the next part of our instructions is wanting us to, oh, I kind of skipped this part. We need to format this SmartArt that we put in here to changing the colors, and then I'm going to change the style. So the color goes to the gradient range accent 1. So make sure when you click on your SmartArt that you click on the whole box. Don't just click one of these squares, or the changes will only apply to that. You want to make sure you click out here. You can close this text pane if you're done with it. And SmartArt design. And the instructions said to use gradient range accent 1. So if I click on this drop down, one of these is going to be gradient range. Oh, I'm sorry, in the colors. Here's my accent 1, gradient range. And the second part was the style to subtle effect. So here's my styles. There's different, here's subtle, third one in. Okay, so those are the changes to that.